Who is Hye-Seong Kim? Not to be confused with former teammate Ha-seong Kim. That's right, both played together for the Kium Heroes before Ha-seong Kim eventually left to play for the San Diego Padres. First of all, no, they are not related. Kim is a very common last name in Korea, if not the most common last name. So, Hye-Seong Kim was a first-round pick by Kium in the 2017 draft in the KBO. He didn't play much in his first season, but over the last 7 years, he has been one of the KBO's best hitters, improving each year except this past season where his average actually dropped from 335 to 326. But that also came with Kim setting career highs in home runs, slugging percentage, and RBIs, all while setting a career low in strikeouts with just 62 whiffs. So, what's his impact going to be in Major League Baseball? The first thing to expect is actually his glove. He's been widely regarded as the best defensive infielder, if not the best defensive player overall, over the last 5 or 6 years in Korea. And yes, a few of those seasons did overlap with his former teammate Ha-seong Kim, who was, of course, a 2-time MLB Gold Glove finalist and 1-time winner at utility. So that should speak volumes about Hye-Seong Kim's defensive game. Now, Hye-Seong Kim is capable of playing second base or shortstop, but he'll be considerably more effective playing second base. Regardless, he's the type of player that'll play all 162 games or close to it, barring injury or an ineffective bat. So, the natural next question is, how will his bat translate to Major League Baseball? Although Hye-Seong Kim hit a career-high 11 home runs this past season, power is not his game. He's not a slap hitter either, though. So let's compare him to another former teammate, Jung-hoo Lee, who, of course, signed with the San Francisco Giants a year ago for $113 million over 6 years. He was a former MVP and batting champ and perhaps what you'd call an artist at the plate. Hye-Seong Kim is more of a scientist in the box. He's more cerebral than reactionary while relying on God-given gifts and family bloodlines like Jung-hoo Lee. Kim instead is a student of the game in every facet and one that improves year on year in multiple ways. Depending on where he plays, he could be a solid leadoff hitter or a great bottom three bat. A ceiling of, say, 290 average, 90 runs, 10 home runs, and 40 stolen bases wouldn't be out of the question, especially by his second or maybe third season in Major League Baseball. But a floor of hitting 250 with 40 to 50 runs scored, no home runs, and just 20 stolen bases while sitting against lefties is a possibility as well. He has until January 3rd to sign, so who are the favorites to sign him? He's represented by the same agent that represents Shohei Ohtani, and the most common and perhaps wise places Asian players tend to go are West Coast and East Coast teams, with the Cubs signing a few in the past. And why is that? Well, let's face it, if you were going to play professional baseball in Japan or Korea, would you go to the city that paid the most money? Or would you take a little less to go to a city that had significantly more people that spoke your language with more restaurants that serve what you're used to eating? Let's face it, given a choice, Asian players want to play in cities like Los Angeles, New York, Seattle, San Francisco, San Diego, Chicago, and maybe Texas, where you can get some good remind-me-of-home sushi or Korean barbecue. How many Asians have played for teams outside of those markets and thrived compared to their expectations? So, of the teams in those markets, Kim's preferences would seem to be the Mariners, Padres, Dodgers, Yankees, and maybe the Mets, with the Angels and Giants considered long shots based on how badly those teams need a second baseman. What about price and terms? Kim has a few things going against him being posted this year. The biggest being Jung-hoo Lee's injury just over a month into his first year of his $113 million contract. Also, sort of a down year for San Diego's Ha-Seong Kim, who rejected a fifth year with the Padres at $8 million, by the way. The lack of a positive season out of the former KBO measuring sticks will only hurt how major league teams look at Hye-Seong Kim. Let's say had Jung-hoo Lee blasted 20 home runs while hitting .310, and Ha-Seong Kim added another gold glove and matched his 2023 5.8 WAR season. I mean, there's no question Hye-Seong Kim could expect something just under what Jung-hoo Lee got, maybe something like $80 million over 6 years. But that was the ceiling, not the reality. So instead, teams will likely pessimistically offer something like the $28 million over 4 years that Ha-Seong Kim got 4 years ago, or maybe something like $60 million over 5 years if a team like Seattle or San Diego get desperate over the next week. One more possibility could be a team like Cleveland or Kansas City signing him if all the other teams lock up a starter at second base and they're able to lock him in for a cheap deal like the Padres did with Ha-Seong Kim. And if that were to happen, I mean, it would be a bargain. For people who don't know anything about Hye-Seong Kim or the KBO, the most common question will be, who would you compare him to? Well, the closest comparison would be a smaller, left-handed hitting Nico Horner of the Cubs. Or you could say Andres Jimenez, who was recently traded to Toronto, but maybe with a little bit less power. So the question to you is, does your team need a second baseman? And if so, would you want them to sign Hye-Seong Kim for, let's say, $40 million over 4 years? That's definitely a deal I can see him making with the Padres or Mariners. But seriously, let me know what you think of Hye-Seong Kim in the comments section below. How much do you know about him, and how do you think he's going to do in the majors? Let's talk about this. And, of course, if you're a baseball fan, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you like this video. Otherwise, thanks for watching till the end.